Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, JW here, and welcome to the second and final part of the Realm of the Jaguar. So last time we built two Jaguar habitats and the main sort of building. This time we're building another two Jaguar habitats, underwater viewing, decorations, finishing touches, statues. There's lots to do. It's a very long video. Originally, I'd planned it for 3 parts, and then I was like, I'm pretty sure I can get it into 2. And then the last time, I was like, hopefully the next episode will be shorter, and this one is longer. Hey. So what you're seeing here is the offshore paddock, or the offshore habitat. So a pregnant jaguar will have access to that, and she can raise her cubs sort of away from the male and away from the prying eyes of the public until the jaguars, the jaguar cub or cubs, are old enough to sort of go on shore, so to speak. So just putting the placeholders in there, and then the main jaguar habitat for the breeding pair. Very much inspired by Chester Zoo, this one. But why not? You know, it's a great zoo. I love it. It's probably one of my favourite places that I've ever been to. But what should we talk about this time? So let's talk a little bit about the history of Dunswell Zoo. Not so much the sort of lore of how Dunswell Zoo came to be in the game, but how Dunswell Zoo came to be a thing. So way back in 2014, I want to say, maybe even earlier. I had another channel on YouTube that was very different. It specialised in Minecraft content. So I was doing like Minecraft mod reviews and Minecraft Jurassic World, and eventually I went on to do a Minecraft zoo, and that zoo was called Dunswell Zoo, and it was very sort of grand and probably a bit too big for Minecraft, if we're being honest, but it was very grand and very what would be considered cutting edge for zoos and wildlife parks. You know, really big naturalistic habitats, lots of enrichment, lots of education, lots of everything essentially. And with that zoo, I started with initially it was sort of like the entrance plaza and like a greenhouse and staff facilities and stuff like that. But the first animals I built for were Asian animals, and if I remember correctly, it was the yak, I think, was the first animal I built for. And from there, I built for the Asian elephants, and from there, I built for... There's something else I built for as well. But yeah, I enjoyed it, is the point. And that's how Dunswell Zoo started. It was a zoo in Minecraft. Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm not sure how you don't know, but Minecraft is a video game that's block based essentially, and it's changed since I played it considerably. But yeah, I used to do like Minecraft dinosaurs and stuff like that, Minecraft Jurassic World. I also had Minecraft Star Wars at one point, sort of in the planning, but the mods never came out for it. So, but I also did Planet Zoo on that channel. and I started off with the trailers and the screenshots and stuff like that, and then I did the beta. I played the beta, and it didn't do particularly well on that channel. Bear in mind, at the time I had like 4,000 subscribers on that. The videos only got like 100 and 200 views, which is all these videos get, but I also have a much smaller subscriber base, so that makes sense. Yeah, but they didn't do very well, so I stopped that. But yeah, the Dunswell Zoo stuff was interesting, obviously, because I'm biased towards that because it was my stuff. But after a while, I moved away from Minecraft, and I moved away from Jurassic World and moved into Wizarding World, so things like Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts. And I balanced that with Minecraft Planet Zoo. Minecraft Dunswell Zoo. So I've got my playlist here actually from when I did it, and it's where are we? Episode 8, episode 7, episode 6, episode 5, 3, 2, and 1. So yeah, I started with the entrance plaza, and then I moved on to the staff building, staff complex. Then I did sort of the shops and stuff around the staff complex. Then I did a main warehouse. Then I did the animal accommodation complex, which is basically like the quarantine and the offshore sort of things. And then I moved on to the Asian Adventure, which was that episode was primarily a path and then the temple that you walk through to get into it. Then I did the Asian Arrival area. Then I did the Asian Elephants. That took 3 episodes. 7 episodes, sorry. That's 3 episodes. 4 episodes. That was episode 7. Then I did an aviary. Then a memorial garden and barn. Then a manor house. Then the last one I did, I think, was a massive expansion where I mapped out where everything was going to be. That looks like the last one. Oh no, I did the Bukharan Markor, Shockclawed Otter, Papyrus Plaza, and yeah, that was the last one I did. So I stopped that channel. When did I stop it? It was the 8th of April 2020 was the last one. About just over 3 years was when I last did it, and that's how Dunswell Zoo came to be. It started off as a Minecraft zoo, and it was something that no matter what form it was in, i.e. whether it was Planet Zoo, whether it was Minecraft, whether it was something else, I always wanted it to be this grand, epic zoo experience. You know, I wanted it to be like the San Diego or the Chester of Planet Zoo, as far as my own zoos are concerned. And I think, so far, I hope I've been able to achieve that. So that's how Planet Zoo, I keep saying Planet Zoo, that's how Dunswell Zoo started. And I left that channel primarily because it becomes stagnant. No matter how many videos I was uploading, no matter what the videos were on, you know, I think by the end of it I had nearly 6,000 subscribers, maybe just over 6,000 subscribers. Videos were very rarely getting 100 views. You know, there was just nothing in it for me, so I stopped that channel. And then I don't know how old this channel is now, but this was different. So that channel was done primarily in my attempt to be a YouTuber, because everybody wanted to be a YouTuber. But this channel's different. This is, of course, I want it to be successful, but it's a hobby for me. I enjoy sharing this with you. I enjoy building things like this. So it doesn't have to be a money making machine, is what I'm saying. Of course I would love to be in a position to make money from this, but I'm not. So I'm not too bothered if the videos aren't racking up thousands of views, because obviously I don't have thousands of subscribers. But first and foremost, the underlying ethos for Dunswell Zoo was animal welfare. I wanted to make sure that the animals had as much room and as authentic a habitat as possible. And again, much like with the grand scale of the zoo, I hope I've been able to achieve that so far. I certainly think in most cases I have. There are some instances where we need to go back and tweak some things, like the Mertens. Well, no, technically the Mertens water monitor. I think that's more of a mod thing where the parameters could be changed. But the Tasmanian devil, one of the habitats for them's a little bit on the small side for their space requirements. There was another one, I forget where it was, but there was another animal as well where the space was sort of on the knife edge of becoming overcrowded. So it's not perfect, and that was something else I wanted to do, because obviously I want to recreate Yorkshire Wildlife Park in Planet Zoo as well. But to do a faithful recreation of that, I had to improve my building skills, and that was another reason for starting this series before that one, because this gives me the freedom and the creativity, and in many ways the toolbox to develop my skills to be able to recreate Yorkshire Wildlife Park as accurately as possible when that time comes. However, when you give yourself freedom and creativity, it can often be quite addictive. And I'm actually starting another series very soon. That one's not a sandbox series, it's a modified sandbox technically. It's more of a challenge. There's going to be conservation credits and money, there's going to be limitations, we're going to be open to the public, animal stress is going to be turned and all stuff like that. Whereas this one is just sandbox. And I have sort of abandoned the story that I had running with it, where it was like, we're getting animals from other zoos, and in order to continue having a license we need to create certain requirements, which the Mayor of Dunswell has asked us to do, stuff like that. I've sort of abandoned that. This one's more just we're just building a nice state-of-the-art zoo for our animals, and that will continue. But yeah, it's sort of slightly nostalgic looking back at where it all started and where it is now, because the image of the zoo, if you like, has changed so much. Obviously Minecraft's procedurally generated, so the world could be as big as you want it to be, and I was going to display every single animal species in that zoo. But Planet Zoo is a different beast altogether. We do have a limited map size, still a little bit too small if you ask me, and you have to choose your animals very carefully, which animals get what space. And so for me, I tend to avoid the animals that are considered least concern, because although they probably do still need some help, you know, in terms of habitat and protection so that they don't become near threatened or endangered or worse, you know, there are animals out there what are already critically endangered and they need our help sort of first. And other zoos and wildlife parks, if they choose to have least concern animals, that's completely fine. I've got nothing against that, but that's not what I want for Dunswell Zoo. I want it to be this harbour, if you like, of endangered and critically endangered and at-risk species. It's a safe place for them to breed and for us to educate the public, and they'll have nice lives here is the point. Just nipping back to what's happening. So I'm doing an underwater viewing gallery for the Jaguar, because they can deep dive and they're very good swimmers. And there's also an educational talk down here. I'm having real difficulty with the pathing here. And I eventually just decide to give in and do that. This is a really weird bug, what you're about to see now. So it kept reverting the colours. But I don't know what happened there. It kept reverting the colours. So I was like, screw it, I'll go build something else, because it was annoying me. I did eventually manage to get it to work. I had to place another talk point. I don't know what was up with that one. It was odd. But yeah, making use of the free build mod here. Just to get things as neat as possible. Now we're just changing the colours. So yeah, I wanted it to be very temple-y themed and very natural, I guess would be an odd word to use in this situation. So it's temple themed, but the planting, when you eventually see it, it's very sort of natural. It's very suited to the Jaguars. There's lots of hiding, there's lots of scent, because Jaguars love scent. Most cats love scent, to be fair. There's lots of greens, which does bug me a little bit, because when everything's green, it can become a bit too much. I would like some more colour in there, but it does look fine in the end, and it suits the Jaguars, and that's the main thing. But no, this underwater viewing gallery took a long time. So the entire build, so part 1 and part 2, the things you did and didn't see, because there's a lot you haven't seen as well. It was about 3.5, maybe 4 weeks, something like that. It's a very long build, and I think it's worth it in the end, although, you know, it's my build. I would be quite biased to say that, but definitely the most challenging build I've had so far. It's such a large footprint, probably, in all honesty, a bit too large. I tend to build habitats bigger than they need to be anyway, but with this I've maybe going a little bit overboard. However, I always say it's much easier to downsize something or to adapt something than it is to upscale something, because, you know, there's a lot of room to work with here. So if we decide, actually, okay, we don't need another Jaguar paddock for the ones retired from the breeding program, then we can convert that for another animal from South America. It could be another species entirely, like completely different to the Jaguar. So it could be I don't know, something Pantanal, what's big? I don't know. We could convert it into an aviary if we ever get flying birds, I'll just say that. Or we could convert it for a similar species, so like the puma, the cougar, for example. Obviously they're not really readily found in the Pantanal, but that's a bridge we'll cross when we come to it. It's always easier to do that than it is to, say, build something like the Jaguar, and you build it accurately in terms of how much space they need. And then you say, oh, actually, I'd like to have something else next to it, and you discover that you haven't got enough room. Whereas if you give the initial build more room, it's easier to downsize it. That's my method of building and thinking anyway. But yeah, it was a really difficult and tough build. Not just in terms of figuring out like piece rotation and making everything look nice and making sure everything's traversable, but just sort of mentally, it was quite exhausting. Although I've just been sat here at my computer building a Jaguar habitat for days on end, when you're spending that much time just doing the same thing and things don't work out and there's a lot of problem solving and like methodical thinking of how things are going to piece together, it becomes quite exhausting. And I do say later in this video I'm going to be taking a bit of a break. Just release these animals, I don't know why they're in boxes. Yeah, I do say later in this video that I'll be taking a short break. A couple of reasons for that. First of all, because this habitat took absolutely ages, and I just want a break, a breather. So that's the first reason. Second reason is when I'm planning to take the break, it'll be for 2 weeks after this video goes live, and by the time I return, it should be the December DLC for Planet Zoo, which who knows what that's going to be. I would like either a South America pack or a Asian pack. There are a lot of Asian animals still missing that I would like, and there are a lot of South American animals still missing that I would like. Equally, of course, I would love it if we got a flying bird DLC. Do I think we're going to get a flying bird DLC? No. But do I want one? Yes. But yeah, my money would be on either a South America DLC or an Asian DLC, because we've had a mix of DLCs this year. We've had the Tropical Pack, we've had the Arid Animal Pack, we've had the Oceania Pack, and then obviously we've got one more left, and then we've got the collared peccary as the anniversary animal. Let's talk about the anniversary. It's the 4th anniversary of Planet Zoo, Whippy Abonibo Planet Zoo, and it's a difficult one. There's a lot going on at Frontier at the moment, and I don't want to speculate too much because I don't know the situation they face, but they are looking at redundancies and restructuring. Planet Zoo should be safe. I say should because it does generate money. Even though the company is operating at a loss, the Planet Zoo IP does generate a profit. So for that reason, it should be safe. For some reason, I don't know how, Jurassic World Evolution 2 makes more of a profit than Planet Zoo. I think Jurassic World Evolution's a terrible game. Jurassic World Evolution 2 is a terrible game. Jurassic World Evolution had its restrictions, but I quite enjoyed my experience with it. But Jurassic World Evolution 2, just no. Anyway, that's my opinion. So I think Jurassic World and Planet Zoo will be safe. Does that mean the people working on it will be immune from layoffs? Probably not. No, that's the reality of business, unfortunately. No matter how good you are, ultimately we are all just numbers on pay sheets, and that's what they're looking at. So it's a difficult thing to celebrate the anniversary of Planet Zoo, because it's, yay, 4 years of this amazing game, but some of the people that have worked on this amazing game may no longer be working on this amazing game. So if that is the case, then my unreserved apologies to those people who have lost their jobs over at Frontier. I know what it's like to lose a job. It's terrible, especially when it's no fault of your own. It's business, unfortunately, at the end of the day, and that's how those cookies crumble. It's money saving and money making. However, as a player, I was quite disappointed by the anniversary. Last time we got the red deer, and then the time before that we got the red ruffed lemur. No, we didn't. We got the black and white ruffed lemur, and the Bernie's Bakes, if I remember correctly. Although that might have been last time, I'm not 100% sure. But this time we just got the collared peccary and some balloons. I like the balloons. It's a nice thing, but it's not magnificent, is it? The collared peccary, it was high on a few people's lists. It wasn't even on my list. I wasn't that bothered that we didn't have a peccary. So when it was announced, yeah, it's going to be great. It's Frontier quality, and as a result, we now have an updated Jaguar peccary rig and model, and we also have a white-lipped peccary mod now. So that's two great things to come from that. But if you weren't using mods, or if I weren't using mods, I would feel quite disappointed that it was just the peccary this year. But again, I understand why. They're undergoing a lot of change over at Frontier, and they have to adapt to that just as much as we do. It's going to be interesting to see what the future holds for Planet Zoo. I'm not a business specialist by any stretch of the imagination. My advice, how I would do things, as far as Frontier is concerned, is I would write off the F1 management simulation thing as a complete loss, because that seems to be what broke the camel's back in this situation. It cost them a lot of money and it hasn't paid off. I would just write that off as a loss. I wouldn't do anything else with it. Jurassic World Evolution 2, I don't know what else they could do with it. Obviously, we've got that new series, what's announced, the Chaos Theory series, which is a follow-on from Camp Cretaceous. I enjoyed the first season of Camp Cretaceous, and then after that it just sort of fell apart, and by the end it was absolutely ridiculous, and it destroys me that that's part of the Jurassic canon now. But anyway, but we're not due any more films. There seemingly isn't any more games on the horizon. I don't know what else they could do with Jurassic World Evolution 2 in terms of DLCs moving forward. There's only, I think, one dinosaur missing, which is Microceratops. The rest of the dinosaurs from the films have all been in there. You haven't gone mad, by the way. You have seen me put the doors in once before already. I did a test. The staff couldn't go through them, so I now have to recalibrate and re-navigate everything. This time it works, though, I will say that much. And where was I? Oh yeah, so Jurassic World Evolution 2. I don't know what else they could do. as far as DLCs are concerned. There's one dinosaur missing. Maybe a few new attractions like a river cruise, stuff like that. I know lots of people want something of that sort of design. But yeah, I don't know what else there is to do other than just keep adding dinosaurs. But then you've added all the dinosaurs from the Jurassic franchise, so you're adding dinosaurs what people potentially haven't heard about, which on the one hand is quite exciting, but on the other hand, it doesn't necessarily generate profit. You know, if you're adding a bunch of dinosaurs that no one's really come across before, you're not really gonna give a damn. Planet Zoo, there's still plenty of opportunity for Planet Zoo. An Asian pack, a South American pack, another African pack, another European pack, another North American pack, flying birds, more terrestrial birds, semi-aquatic animals, perhaps fully aquatic animals. On the note of fully aquatic animals, I disagree with probably a fair amount of the community in adding whales and dolphins. They should not be kept in tanks, no matter how big they are. Fish, turtles, manatees, seals, sea lions, what else we got? Seabirds. Yeah, they're fine. Fish as well, fine, up to a certain size. I think whale sharks are too big to be kept in captivity. As amazing as they probably are to see that close, I do think it's very cruel. But definitely in terms of aquatic animals, fish, I think, would be a great step in the right direction if we were to get them. And then semi-aquatic animals, turtles, seals, sea lions. That's mainly all I can think of. Yeah, and obviously flying birds, the opportunities are quite literally endless because there's hundreds of thousands of species of birds. But the future could be quite long for Planet Zoo. I hope it is. I hope it's going to be like City Skylines, where we get like 8 years worth of support, which means we're only like halfway through now. That'd be amazing if that was the case, and especially considering that, as unfortunate as it is, Frontier do need to start making money, so maybe they should milk the cash cows that are Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution 2. You know, add some more animals. I, for one, would pay for a cloned animal pack. You know, just different textures, slight model edits, things like that. So, Sumatran tiger, the Sumatran orangutan, because I think we've got the Bornean. What else could be a model edit? Another species of giraffe, another species of zebra, stuff like that. I would happily pay for that. That doesn't bother me at all. Of course, I love the new animals and new animal rigs, but yeah, I would pay for that. So if anyone from if anyone from Frontier is watching or listening, take that to your business meeting. Clone animal packs, just slight model edits, slight texture differences. Not a lot of work. Stick a few of them in a pack. £6 or £7. There you go, Bob's your uncle. People would pay for it. I would. So what else can we talk about? On a closing note regarding the Frontier situation, my thoughts are with everyone that is affected by this. Not only will it be hard for the people that are losing their jobs, it's going to be hard for the people that stay as well. And my thoughts go to everyone at Frontier in that regard. Thank you for the collared peccary, even though it's not something I'm particularly grateful for. Thank you for the collared peccary. Thank you for the new animal balloons. And I will hopefully look forward to the 5th anniversary of Planet Zoo. Right, back to the matter at hand then. Jaguars. So we're just finishing the main building here. We're doing the roof. I wanted this nice circular glass roof to catch as much light as possible. And it looks like it's a mess, I'll be completely honest. And it has like a dome on the top. Don't worry, it's not lined up here. I realised that later on. I do tweak it. It is now lined up. And then we're doing the planting out at the front. How long's left? We're approaching halfway, nearly. So Jaguars, they are only near threatened. There's still a fair few of them left in the wild, but their population is decreasing and they are under threat for poaching, habitat loss, conflict with humans, domesticated animals, things like that. The common threats, essentially, that we humans are responsible for. And there are a fair amount of jaguars in zoos across the world. I've only seen them at one zoo, but I am aware that there are plenty of zoos with jaguars. But yeah, it was... I couldn't not build for the jaguar. It's such an iconic South American species. And then I thought, okay, why don't we do something different? Instead of doing, just a jaguar habitat, why don't we do something that means something? Something that means it makes a difference. And so I came up with this idea to do 3 jaguar habitats, 4 if you include the offshore paddock. And we had one for sort of an old jaguar who just wants a bit of peace and quiet in his life. Are we into the cinematics already? We are. Wow. Okay. So I'll shut up in a minute, although I won't because you're going to get a guided tour. But these are the cinematics. This is Old Man Norman's enclosure on the left here. I'll go into more detail in the guided tour, don't worry about that. Ignore the Z fighting, it's not there. But yeah, I wanted to make a difference. So we've got an old jaguar enclosure where it can live out the rest of its life with like tip-top care. There's Frank taking a look at Norman. Then you've got the jaguars retired from the breeding program. So there still could be quite young jaguars, but they're obviously not part of the breeding program. So they do need somewhere to live. So zoos that are specialised for breeding, they can move their jaguars to here and they can get a breeding pair. And then we also have a breeding pair at the other side as well. Which are these two in here? Andromeda and Caesar. Not named after Caesar creates before anybody says anything. It's named after the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar. Hence, his partner is called Andromeda. Not the real Caesar's partner, obviously, but our jaguar, his partner's called Andromeda. And we're just going to take a fly through out here. I will leave you to enjoy these cinematics, and I shall see you again shortly for the guided tour. I felt something this size needed a guided tour. So I shall see you in a few moments. Well, hello everyone, GW, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode so far. So we're in the final stretch now. You've probably just seen the cinematics, the fly through and everything. I thought I'd give you a nice little sort of more in-depth tour of the Realm of the Jaguar and just talk you through a few things. So first up we have Old Man Norman's enclosure. We are getting a little bit of lag and some frame stuttering, possibly due to the sheer amount of pieces in the zoo at the moment, but we'll deal with that as we move ahead. So your viewing opportunities for Norman are intentionally very limited. There's a lot of foliage. It's very easy for Norman to sort of disappear and hide, but he is an older Jaguar, so that's very much is just there actually going into the pool. It's very much to be expected, you know, we want to give him as much peace and quiet as possible and keep his stress to an absolute minimum. He's disappeared somewhere. So yeah, that's just Old Man Norman. He does live on his own. We've obviously got two zookeepers in here. And there he is, there's Old Man Norman. Beautiful, beautiful Jaguar. Jaguars are some of my favourite of the big cats, and I'm very much a cat person even though I love all animals. So it was really nice to build this habitat in the first part. There's a nice shallow pool for Norman. So only in, I think, one part he can actually swim. You can see there he's actually just walking through the water. It's only sort of in this area down here where it's a bit deeper for him, but he just enjoys walking through it, and there's of course these wooden pieces to help him get out because he's an older gentleman. And there's this fence at the back for some privacy from the other Jaguars at the other side. So we'll move on from Norman. And then of course you get to the entrance of the building, Realm of the Jaguar. So you can head down either path, we're taking the nearest one, because why not? You will see some Z fighting every so often. Like here, there's bits of Z fighting. I've done everything I can to correct it, it's just not possible in some places, and the closer you get to it the more it does actually disappear. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on there, but it is what it is. It's just one of Planet Zoo's little quirks. So we come through the doors and we're in the Realm of the Jaguar. So the building is a little bit barren up the top here. I'm welcome to ideas for what I can do with this. I've just put some of these panels up for now. I was thinking maybe some supports for this part of the roof, and then we can do like vines and things, something like that. We've got our first informational sign here, which is the plight of the Jaguar. The elusive Jaguar has been virtually wiped out from most of its northern and southern range. Jaguars now occupy around half of their historic habitat. Their habitat is under threat like never before. In the Amazon, a stronghold for the Jaguar, we're losing an area of rainforest around the size of 3 football pitches every minute, with a huge increase in the number of fires recorded in 2019. That's an astonishing amount of land. 3 football pitches every minute. That's just... I can't fathom how much land that is. But I know that it's a devastating loss to not just the Jaguar, but all those creatures, really. Over a quarter of the Jaguar's range is thought to have depleted numbers of wild prey. Too often, they're killed due to fear, livestock losses, and an increasing local and international demand for body parts. And deforestation not only reduces the amount of habitat available to the Jaguars, it also fragments and isolates the population, making them more vulnerable to other threats. So things like localized extinction, poaching, disease is another major threat. And then we do have the Jaguar donation here. I'm going to have to redo this. You can't see it very well. Unfortunately, I will redo that at some point. But then we have Old Man Norman. So, Norman, nickname Old Man, and he was from Leroy's Farm and Wildlife Park. Old Man Norman likes his creature comforts. As an older gentleman, Norman likes nothing better than napping and eating. Norman can usually be found catching 40 winks in his heated hay bed offshore, on his heated platform indoors, or if the weather is to his liking, he can even be found on one of his adapted platforms outside. Being an older Jaguar, Norman needs some specialist care. His habitat here at the zoo is designed to be as accessible as possible, with a shallow outdoor pool, adapted climbing platforms, and carefully formed terrain and planting to be as easy to navigate as possible. Norman also has a lot of privacy, as he's an older Jaguar. We wanted to give him a nice and easy, quiet life in his final years, while still letting him be a Jaguar. And you can adopt Norman at the conservation station next to the Pantanal monorail station. And Norman was outside. There's his heated platform. Norman's probably still outside. And now we move on to his neighbours, which is... again, I need to redo this one. You can't really see it. Well, you can see it better than the other one, I suppose. Deforestation rates are high in Latin America, both for logging and to clear space for cattle ranching. This results in many new threats to jaguars, from the loss of their home to isolating their populations, making breeding harder. Less habitat also means jaguars' prey is reduced. Reduced. Where was I? Over a quarter of their range is thought to have been depleted numbers of wild prey. This leads them to hunt livestock and therefore be killed by people. They're also vulnerable to poaching, despite this being illegal. Though demand for their skin has declined since the mid-1970s, jaguar paws, teeth and other parts are still sought after, both locally and internationally, for traditional medicine and ornaments. Jaguars used to be found from the southwest USA throughout South America to the central part of Argentina. Now they've been virtually eliminated from half of their historic range. There's around 173,000 jaguars left in the wild today. Most of these big cats are found in the Amazon rainforest and the Pantanal, which is of course the region we're in Dunswell Zoo. Within South America anyway. The largest tropical wetland, their stronghold is in Brazil. It may hold around half of the estimated wild numbers. Your donations will help us to preserve and restore vital jaguar habitats across South America. And then we've got our two retirees. So let's just see if they're in here first. They're not. They're probably outside. They do like being outside. So we've got Princess Xochi and Angmar. So we have Xochi, nicknamed Princess. She's from Creason Zoo. Princess by name, princess by nature. Xochi has lived with her partner Angmar since she was 3.5 years old. The pair are unusually close for a typically solitary species. Xochi was dubbed Princess by her previous keepers, and after only a few days here at the zoo, we saw why. Xochi eats before Angmar. Wherever she goes, Angmar follows, and she will only do what she wants to do when she wants to do it. You can tell Xochi and Angmar apart by their size and facial structure. Xochi is slightly smaller and more slender than Angmar, especially in the face. Angmar and Xochi have had several cubs over the years, and they've now been retired from the breeding program. Princess Xochi will live out the rest of her life here at Dunswell Zoo alongside her partner Angmar, where they have large indoor and outdoor areas to explore, and you can adopt Xochi and Angmar from the conservation station next to the Pantanal monorail station. And then, of course, we have Angmar, nickname Ang, also from Creason Zoo. Angmar and his partner Xochi are inseparable. They eat together, though Xochi eats first, sleep together, explore together, and if you're lucky, you can even see them grooming each other. Despite them being inseparable, Angmar does love his alone time with his favourite enrichment, a scented cardboard box. Angmar has lived with Xochi since he was 4, and the duo have produced several cubs over the year, and both he and Xochi have now been retired from the breeding program, and this majestic gentleman gets to live out the rest of his years in a lush, naturalistic habitat with his lifelong partner, Xochi. Angmar is a very stocky jaguar when compared to Xochi, especially in the head and the face. He's also slightly larger than Zochi. And you can see the facial differences here. And this is their indoor area. And in there's their offshore area. And then we have this sort of Jaguar sculpture in the middle. I would have liked something a bit more grand, a bit different. This is the only Jaguar statue we've got in the game. So this will have to do. And the idea behind this is that whenever we unfortunately lose a Jaguar, a memorial plaque will go on the circular part of this structure. So let's head outside and see if we can see Zochi and Angmar. So we head outside and we've got a giant monkey puzzle tree, and there's some sort of implied information about the giant monkey puzzle tree. And then we've got this little planted garden here that hides some staff facilities. It's nothing particularly fancy, it's just a South American-esque looking sort of planted garden. And then you can come up here and you get your outdoor viewing for Zochi and Angmar, and would you look at that for timing? Wow. So I think that's Zochi, what's going after the hanging feeder. And Angmar's already tucking into some lovely food. I think Zochi's run inside now. But they have this lovely pool to swim in. They can deep dive in this as well. Very naturalistic pool. And they can explore behind this waterfall. All along here, they've got climbing platforms. Oh, Zochi had something in her mouth then. She's brought she's brought a toy. She's brought a toy to Angmar. Oh, that's cute. I like that. Oh. You get some good views here, of course. But we need to go and see our two other residents, which are our breeding pair. We don't have any cubs yet, we have only just got them. They've been getting used to each other. So in here we have Andromeda and Caesar. And Caesar is a melanistic male. If we can find him. Probably both outside. They both love being outside. I can't blame them. Yeah, they're probably outside. There's plenty of opportunities to see them in here, if they do choose to come in here. And just before I introduce you to Caesar and Andromeda, you'll notice that one of the doors back here is closed. That leads to a separate enclosure that can be used either as an offshore facility if there's an ill Jaguar, or the female can go in there and have their cubs, and there's an outdoor area that I'll show you that functions sort of like a nursery. And then we could also have the female and the cubs in here and shut it off so that Caesar has access to the big outdoor enclosure and the offshore house, and Andromeda and the cub or cubs would have access to this and the offshore enclosure in here. But this one is modelled off Chester Zoo. I didn't want to go exactly like Chester Zoo, so things look a little bit different. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said this particular Jaguar habitat wasn't heavily inspired by Chester Zoo. None of them have come in yet, of course. So we'll just go ahead and introduce you. So we've got Andromeda. So Andromeda, also called Mida, was from Aslan Predator Park. Andromeda is a quintessential Jaguar, if I can speak properly, through and through. She is a fierce, deadly hunter and bold, often following keepers as they walk around the habitat. She enjoys her enrichment and can often be found surveying her kingdom from the climbing frame in her outdoor habitat. Andromeda is currently paired with Caesar as part of the breeding program to ensure there is a genetically viable captive population ready to release back into the wild when the time comes. In the meantime, Andromeda is an excellent ambassador for her species and their depleting natural habitat by helping to raise awareness for the plight that they face. Hopefully, Andromeda and Caesar will have cubs of their own sometime soon and continue the legacy of the Jaguar at Dunswell Zoo. You can adopt Andromeda at the conservation station. And then we have Caesar. It doesn't have a nickname, we'll just call him Caesar. Caesar is unmistakable when compared to the other Jaguars, as he is melanistic, or black. Despite his fearsome appearance and name, Caesar is actually a big softie, though we don't recommend giving him any tummy rubs. He's often watching, sniffing and playing with things when he isn't napping or swimming. Caesar is currently paired with Andromeda for the breeding program. In the meantime, excellent ambassador. And then you can adopt Caesar at the conservation station. And I need to go back and edit that because I haven't put a space between the and conservation there. But I have on that one. Right. So before... Oh, there we go. There's Andromeda. Looking very happy with herself, I must say. Wow. I love this game and the big cats so much. So Andromeda looks like she's going back outside. And then, obviously the other side of this statue, we have some more conservation and education. So how can we help the Jaguar? We can support local communities in developing sustainable livelihoods like ecotourism, rubber tapping, and Brazil nut collection. We can protect the remaining habitat for the Jaguar and other South American species. We can support local communities in monitoring jaguars and other at-risk South American species. We can work with local communities to reduce the problem of people and jaguars coming into conflict over livestock or fear. We can establish wildlife corridors and connect fragmented habitats until habitat restoration can take place. And we can ensure a healthy and viable captive population exists in captivity should anything happen to the population of wild jaguars. That's exactly what we're doing here at Dunswell Zoo. So we exit through the other door, and then we just head down this path. We'll speed along a little bit. And then we get to Andromeda and Caesar's outdoor enclosure, which looks very sort of jungly and lush. And it is, to be fair, it is, but it does sort of remain within a grassland sort of theme too. So you get some really good viewing opportunities here. So you could see them potentially using the scratching tree. There is a frozen pumpkin that goes here, and you could see Andromeda or Caesar on here surveying the kingdom. And there's a little bed sort of shaded down here in the leaf litter where they can relax. No sign of them at the moment. I do like that though. I like that you can't always tell where they are. It adds to the mystery. So we'll just continue to head round, and again, you know, there's very few viewing opportunities as far as the fence is concerned. And then we just head to the left. Then we've got another one of these little viewing windows. Ah, there we go. There's Andromeda. Playing with the hanging feeder. Go on, Andromeda. Yes. Wow. It's something I don't think we do a lot as like Planet Zoo YouTubers and builders. We don't really get the time to just sit and look at the animals and just appreciate how wonderful they are. Wonderful. Love it. Again, good viewing opportunities from here. The sun at the moment does make it a little bit difficult. Obviously, it's shining directly on the glass. But it'll do. And I would suspect that Caesar's probably near the water. So we shall head into our underwater viewing for the Jaguar. And there's also the educational talk down here. This actually took a lot longer to build than it seems. So here is your underwater. There he is, there's Caesar. I thought he'd be swimming. He usually is. This is our underwater viewing for the Jaguar. And there's of course the educational talk point here. So we just head on down. And you can either stand and watch the Jaguar, or you can take a seat and watch the Jaguar. I do need to recolour these, I did forget about that. But oh well. But yeah, Caesar absolutely loves to swim, and he's got an awful lot of room to do it as well. I don't know why he's in a block, but okay. Here he comes. There you go. He's out. But yeah, there's this lovely sort of ruined temple pit thing. Got a log in here as well. There is an underwater feeder, so they can dispense fish whilst the talk's going on, and the Jaguars can catch the fish under the water. And then there is a waterfall that sort of flows into here and keeps everything circulating and keeps it nice and fresh and clean. And again, just got sort of basic information and stuff down here. And then in this back corner, I had to put these panels here. The path was showing, the curb on the path, which is hidden as best as possible, is here. Because it wasn't flat, it was like going up the wall, the curb. So I had to put these here to hide that. And then again, but this one needs changing because it's quite difficult to see. Yeah, plenty of light coming in here. So we'll just nip back up. And I will do something someone should never do and go in the Jaguar habitat. So this is what the top side of that pool looks like. So this is all impassable rockwork, so the Jaguars can't get on here. And this is for two reasons. One, I wanted a pristine backdrop so that you couldn't see anything that was behind it. And two, the offshore enclosure, as much privacy as possible. And this is one way of doing that. There's Andromeda. I thought she was going to take a running jump then. Yeah, near enough. There she is. They've got a huge area of water to swim in. And that's absolutely fine by me. So the offshore enclosure then, this is how the Jaguars get between the two as far as outside's concerned. So if we wanted to, for example, shut Caesar inside, we'd just shut this door here. and then we could open this one, and then Andromeda and the cub or cubs would have access to the nursery and this outdoor enclosure, and Caesar would have access to the indoors. But yeah, it's a nice little habitat. It doesn't really need much. It is just sort of like a nursery or a recovery enclosure. Everything's quite low so that the Jaguar cubs can learn how to climb, starting with things that are a bit safer. But, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get some baby Jaguars soon. And again, there's plenty of enrichment and stuff in here. And then inside, you've got this with a little cubbing den. So Jaguar can go in here and keep her cubs in there as long as she wants. Then there's this area, the main area with the food, a little bit of climbing, water and some enrichment. And then this den here connects to the inside habitat, and we can shut this off in 3 ways. So we can open this to give the male sort of access to the cubs if he wants to sniff them through the fence, stuff like that. But generally, Jaguars are quite solitary animals. If there were cubs, we would probably separate the male and the female. So yeah, that, my friends, is the Jaguar habitat. Well, not just the habitat, the realm of the Jaguar completed. I hope you've enjoyed this 2-parter. It's been an incredible amount of work. It's taken about 3 weeks to do the entire habitat, the entire build, sorry. So the building, all the habitats, all the planting, all the decoration, all the stuff like that. It's taken about 3 weeks. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I'm really happy with it. It's not perfect. There are still some details that can be added. Like, this is a lot of empty space. I don't like how echoey and cold this seems. But hopefully you enjoy it. I really like it. I'll probably spend a lot of time watching the Jaguars in here. And that's all there is, really, for me to say for this. So there will be a short break in episodes. I'm planning to take a 2-week break after this episode goes live, because this has been quite exhausting working on the same thing for like 3 weeks, and I just want a bit of a break. Also, I need to finish that other map so we can get that other series started. It is very nearly finished, that other map. It's just getting around to doing the last touches, you know, polishing it up and stuff like that. And then it should probably be time at that point for the next DLC, which would be the December DLC, the last one of 2023. We just got the collared peccary. It's alright. We haven't had a peccary before. I'm glad we didn't just get another clone animal. Not the most exciting animal, though. Peccary wasn't really on my list. But I'm glad we've got it. You know, we've now got an updated Chacoan peccary mod thanks to that. So, and we've got another new species of peccary that we'll be adding in the Atlantic forest as well. So, what can you expect next time? Well, my friends, in the next episode, we are leaving South America. For now, we will be coming back because we've got penguins of Patagonia and the Atlantic forest to do, and possibly miniature monkeys. But next time, we're starting our Asian area, which I'm super excited about. We're starting with the Himalayas, so we're going to be doing a lot of terrain work, a lot of rock work, lots of different sorts of planting than what we're used to, and very different animals and different theming, and I'm super excited to get stuck into that. I'm not going to tell you what the first animal is. I will leave that for the next episode. So, my friends, thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel too if you have liked this video and want to see more content like this. Although this is just a hobby for me, I do have a full-time job. I have noticed that my subscriber growth has slowed considerably the more videos I've been putting out, which is slightly weird. So please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you have indeed liked this video and other videos and want to see more content and stay up to date with all my Planet Zoo content. At the moment it is just Dunswell Zoo, and I'll do the timed scenarios if we get one in the next TLC. Other than that, until that next series comes out, which I'm hoping to have ready for the end of November. It's currently the 7th of November when I'm recording this. So, yeah, it's a couple of weeks and then it'll be back to Dunswell Zoo and also starting that new series. The new series, I'll explain more about it in that series, but it's not modded, it's completely vanilla, and it's a sort of reimagination of something that I've done before. And I'm very excited to do it because although I love the modded animals and the range and the diversity, I do also like the challenge of building sort of realistic zoos with the animal selection that we have from the DLCs and the base game. And I wanted to push myself to build for them because it's not something I do particularly often. Like the Pantanal, for example, we've got the capybara, the giant otter, the jaguar, and that's it for sort of non-modded animals. The rest of them are all modded. Reptiles at risk, we have the exhibit species and the Galapagos tortoise and the Menelaus blue morpho butterfly. The rest of them are modded. So I use a lot of modded animals. That's because there's still a lot missing from the game. But yeah, I talk too much. So, thank you for watching. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have enjoyed this video. You can find me on Instagram at JW_YT, and you can also find my wildlife photography at JW_wildlife photography. I think it's an underscore. Let me just check. This is the point where I don't even know my own Instagram accounts. It is, yeah, JW_wildlife photography and JW_YT. Until the next time, my friends, stay safe, stay kind, and I shall see you all in the next video for our venture into Asia. Until then, my friends, thank you for watching, and bye-bye for now.